1950. Yma Sumac releases Voice of the Exotica, produced by one Les Baxter. Her 5-octave otherworldly voice plants the first seeds of Exotica, shattering not only glass, but musical boundaries as well. Way before Minnie Riperton and Mariah Carey, and about 1,000 times cooler and way more musically interesting. 1951, Les Baxter releases Ritual of the Savage. Combining jungle rhythms and percussion with dense orchestral arrangements, the sound is stylistically like many film scores of the day, only with an exotic twist. Why is this record so important? The songs. Tracks like Stone God, Love Dance, Coronation, Jungle Riverboat, and most importantly, Quiet Village. More on that later. If Voice of the Exotica was the seed, then this was the seed-taking root. Les releases several albums after, including Tamboo, Caribbean Moonlight, and the uber percussion-forward Skins, to name a few. 1954. Los Angeles-based piano player Martin Denny arrives in Waikiki for a 6-month solo piano residency at Don the Beachcomber's Dagger Bar. By the end of that 6 months, he decides, I like it here. I'm moving to Hawaii. I mean, of course, why wouldn't he? January 1955, Denny moves to Hawaii, getting hired for a solo piano gig at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel right across the street from Don the Beachcomber. But Don wanted him back. Denny said, only if I can form a group. Don agreed, and Martin recruits vibraphonist Arthur Lyman and bassist John Kramer, and the Martin-Denny trio was born. At first, Denny kept his gig at the Royal Hawaiian performing for cocktail hour, then sprinting across Kalakaua Avenue to perform with the trio. Quite the hustle. Not long after, a young Puerto Rican percussionist, Augie Colon, started showing up at the Dagger Bar gigs asking to sit in on bongos. Denny loved his flair and energy and added him to the group. The quartet was complete. Piano, vibes, bass, and percussion. Further experimenting and crafting the sound, performing many Les Baxter compositions, but arranging them for this 4-piece combo, creating the sound we now know as Exotica. Right around this time, Alfred Apaka, entertainment coordinator at Don the Beachcomber and a big star of the Honolulu music scene in his own right, was approached by Henry Kaiser of Kaiser Aluminum to head up the entertainment at his brand new Hawaiian Village Hotel. Apaka offered Denny a residence at the Shell Bar, an indoor-outdoor open-air lounge entertaining Hawaiian Village patrons. And yes, it was tiki as f***, featuring ponds, tapa, bamboo, the whole nine. At nearly triple the pay, how could he say no? Denny and the band moved, giving them more space, bigger audiences, and the freedom to experiment further. Then came one humid and most likely rum-soaked night in 1956 at the Shell Bar. The band was performing when a few of the bullfrogs that lived in the ponds just next to where the stage was started croaking loudly along with the band. Denny noticed that the frogs stopped when the music stopped and started again when the band started playing. Clearly, they thought they were in the band too. The band, probably 3 sets and several Mai Tais into the evening, started mimicking the frogs and doing bird calls along with them. The audience ate it up, and the band got a good laugh. The next night, a hotel patron asks Martin, "Are you going to play that arrangement with the frogs and the birds?" It was then that he realized, I may have stumbled onto something here. And from then on, the bird calls became part of the act. As part of his management contract, Liberty Records had first dibs on the group. Label head Cy Waronker, becoming more aware that something was happening there in Waikiki, heard the music and decided, we need a name for this unusual sound. He dubbed it Exotica, and in December 1956, in one 8-hour recording session, the Martin Denny Group recorded The Sounds of Martin Denny, Exotica, featuring what we all now know as the Tiki National Anthem, Quiet Village.
You know, after Ross, we made enough money with the Chipmunks that Cy Waronker could then take a vacation, and of course he decided to go to Hawaii. And while he was there, he ran into a guy who was, I guess, the original Birdman, Martin Denny, and came up with an album called Exotica. From there, of course, came Quiet Village from that album as a single release. And Marty was, of course, also very instrumental in the success of Liberty Records.
It's no accident that the first sound you hear when you drop the needle on Quiet Village is a croaking bullfrog. no doubt as a tribute to those frogs that changed everything for Martin Denny. After the release of Exotica, Arthur Lyman left the group to go solo and even ended up taking Denny's spot at the Shell Bar. Meanwhile, Denny hit the road touring with new vibraphonist Julius Wechter, spreading Exotica far beyond Hawaii. The initial release of Exotica did okay, but it wasn't until several albums later with the 1959 stereo re-recording of Quiet Village and release of the album by the same name did he reach massive popularity, hitting the Billboard charts and reaching top 10. Suddenly, Exotica music was not just a mere Hawaiian curiosity, it was a nationwide sensation. And, with the 1959 edition of Statehood, Hawaii, in all its allure and charms, called out to mainlanders looking for that incredible tropical escape offered by this amazing exotic sound, the one they heard on Quiet Village. Naturally, every record label had to get in on the game, and releases by similar artists like, of course, Arthur Lyman, Gene Rains, Robert Drasnin, Alex Kayak, Milt Raskin, and many others tried to follow Denny to that promised land to varying degrees of success, but no one topped Quiet Village in popularity, with the exception of Lyman, who had a huge hit with the song Yellowbird, and others like Taboo and Love for Sale, holding his own with Denny and giving him his rightful place as a pioneer of the genre. 1961 to 1964. Exotica peaks. Quiet Village and Yellowbird are mandatory at every backyard luau. But by the mid-1960s, surf music and then, of course, Beatlemania crashes the party, and right along with the tiki and Polynesian craze of that golden age, it begins its inevitable decline, only to be rediscovered later by a whole new generation looking to escape. Denny released 37 albums in his career and Arthur Lyman over 30, and along with Les Baxter are credited with being the pioneers of the Exotica sound. The musical mixology of Tiki.